and work backwards from it, and then put in controls at every step of the way. And it's going to be like all these things, possibilities will lead up to this one undesirable thing. So it's a procedure for optimizing your network security. You identify vulnerabilities, objectives. You define countermeasures, but you do it by working backwards to show how the result was achieved. And you have a bunch of people. You do it on a piece of paper or some collaboration whiteboard or something, and you all work on it together. It gives you a bird's eye view of the whole pathway to compromise, starting from I phished somebody's email or username and password out of them, or I bribed them with a chocolate bar or something, up to I then did a low-level compromise, up to I escalated privilege, up to I pivoted, up to I got to the database server, up to, and so that every step of the way you're putting in mitigations, controls. So it helps us identify key areas to implement mitigation. So like the question would be, what is our susceptibility to zero-day exploits? How could we gather information about this? How could we, since it's 0 day, there's no signature for this, how can we deal with this? Well, the first thing is recognize that it happened. That would be the first thing. The second thing would be, once it's happened, look for any other incidents of that thing. You know, do we have other things that have the same issue? From there, we can contain those. And since there is no automated signature for this yet, we can go to a CERT team and just say, can you guys help us with this? So let's talk about researching the security implications of emerging business tools. You know, those evolving social media platforms, whew, oh my goodness, that's a whole topic in itself for security, because mostly users are leaking information out with the social media platforms. We need to use layered protection. DLP will help you. Lots of user education and some policies. That's really the bottom line of protecting with social media. And that includes DMZs if possible. That may or may not help. It's the DLP, the data leak prevention. That will help you a whole bunch. It doesn't help you when someone's using this, sitting at lunch outside at a coffee shop, keeping up with your customers and leaking information that way. But at least if it's originating in your company, the DLP solution will help you loads. So anyway, you just need to keep up to date, have policies for social media usage, and the big thing is training, and surprise training, and scenario-based training, and war games, and all these things, so that users are able to see every sign and possibility and catch themselves before they accidentally, inadvertently disclose something. This has been identified as the 4 top expected social media threats for 2019 for upcoming. We have angler phishing, basically fraudulent customer care responses on social media. So in other words, this is Microsoft and we owe you some money. Okay, or we're phishing unsuspecting customers of their usernames and passwords. Domain fraud. We're spoofing known domains. So like you spell Google with 3 O's, or you spell Google with a 1 instead of an L. People don't see it when they're just glancing at something. They misread it. It's a very common thing, domain spoofing. So we use it to phish unsuspecting customers. Compliance-related social account sprawl. So I'm using a Microsoft account for all sorts of things, including private and public stuff and corporate stuff. And so I've totally blurred the line between private accounts and public accounts and corporate accounts. So you just need to supervise that. And you could put in place, we've talked about those CAS brokers that control, they sort of implement policy as a man in the middle between your private network and a cloud. So there are some technical solutions. Doesn't help you at all when someone's using this away from the workplace. And just trying to keep your key people, your executives, the whales, and the spearfishies from being targeted. Just keep an eye on them, really educate them on the risk and how to use social media safely. Those are the risks, the big ones. Integration of everything within the business. So we integrate new tools. It makes business more effective, more responsive, faster, competitive edge, all that. Of course, it brings all these technical challenges. The fact that we are living in an always-on, always connected world where people don't even pay attention to the fact that they're being recorded. Your every move is being recorded. We've just kind of blanked that out. That's a challenge technically and from a security perspective. And so really educating people, and whenever you can implement technology, do it, but educate users as much as you can. So when we decide to use a new technology, a new business tool, or any new tool, we really need to try to do as much of a full risk assessment as we can. We need to have policies in place to protect the organization and all the assets with security awareness training. And here's the key, the security personnel has got to be given time and resource to actually check this technology out before we go and buy it. Because you don't want to just go, oh, let's buy it real quick, let's deploy it, implement it, and now you've got this IT team scrambling to patch all these holes. Holes that they just go, oh, if only we had known ahead of time. So it's hard to do with new technologies. So you need to, realizing that as an IT person, you're probably going to lose that battle, just have a remediation and recovery plan in place. Big data. This is a term that describes big data, a large volume of data. But what that means is data that is not in traditional databases. It's unstructured. It is stored in a totally different way. So like Hadoop, Red Cloud, any of those cloud analytics, they're all big data. They're not stored in traditional SQL type relational databases. They can be queried differently. They can have all these disparate sources come together. We don't know the security implications of any of this. We don't know. We frankly don't know the security implications of big data, cloud data, AI, Internet of Things. We're moving into all sorts of uncharted territory. And I don't have an answer to give you right now because nobody knows. We're starting to see little things, but we don't yet know everything. All we can assume is that the always connectedness of it increases the risk of exploitation and data exfiltration. It increases the exposure of users to social engineering, dramatically increases it. It increases the exposure of our data to being intercepted and manipulated. We make those assumptions, especially since a lot of it is moved to the cloud and we don't